Women don't like to be held accountable for their wardrobe choice and the message that it sends. It's evident all over society. Girl walks outside in some skin-tight spandex booty shorts and then have the nerve to complain when she sees a bunch of guys drooling over her. It's kind of funny, to be honest. I've seen girls out here in minimally dressed attire getting harassed by different dudes who are slaves to their lower urges. And I just be thinking, what did you expect? Many times, most of these girls, they will claim to be doing it for themselves or so that they can feel confident in their own skin and whatnot. And, they're not doing it for male attention, they say, And to that I say, I wasn't born yesterday. Y'all want to be as sexual as possible without being sexualized. Many of you are being intellectually dishonest with yourselves about the fact that there's a level of excitement that rises in you, knowing that you are causing men out here to stumble at your beauty. Try to solely shift the blame onto the men. You should use your God-given brain. Come on now, some of y'all are out here acting like y'all are just so offended and like you're just not understanding where all this unwanted attention is coming from. Many times, a lot of y'all will say that, the man is the one with the problem. He's the one with the problem in his flesh, and, he need to control his eyes, he need to control his actions and all that type of stuff. And to that, I say, I agree 100%. Not your strength unto a woman. Ethan, Pookie, Miguel, and Aladdin need to control their actions. And no amount of whorish, lewd dressing justifies actions such as rape or sexual harassment. These grown men need to control themselves. Yup, men need to grow the heck up and start exercising the spirit of self-control and all of that stuff. But what about the 7-year-old little curious boy who's standing there in the store aisle and there's a grown 34-year-old woman with her camel toe busting out in some skin-tight yoga pants, just standing right there in front of the little kid. He don't know what he's looking at, but he's curious as I don't know what. Like, what is he supposed to know about self-control? He was a pure child at heart until he was exposed to your whorish desire to dress like a slut in public. Now he's gonna grow up with problems in his flesh and all that type of stuff because he done seen something at a young age that he wasn't ready to see yet. I actually know a few people that this have happened to, without any real guidance in their lives, because their mom is either perpetuating this behavior or he sees a lot of the young women that he's growing up with in his community and they're out here dressed like that. He ends up growing up to become the very kind of man that you all claim to hate so much. The nasty cat-calling perverted young man that only wants one thing from young women. Y'all have let this proud to be a whore culture go to your heads, and now your egos have gotten so huge that you don't even care about the effect that your clothing choices are having on children. I mean, we're talking literal indecent exposure out here. Like I said, some little kids can be curious, and they don't necessarily have to be taught to look at the woman at the beach in the micro bikini just laid all out with no shame in her game whatsoever. Another thing I want to mention right quick is that, there was a girl at my job a few years ago, and I ain't gonna mention no names because, I don't know if she'll ever stumble across this or not. She called herself venting to me, and in her own words, she said she felt comfortable venting to me about this because, she figured I wasn't one of those dehydrated, thirsty dudes that just be acting like a dog in heat over every single girl that walks by, like some of the guys at my job are. She wanted to know my perspective on why it seems like these dudes out here only want one thing, if you know what I mean. Like it seems like they only think about sexual things and they don't care to get to know a girl for what's on her mind or her personality or none of that type of stuff. You know what I said to her? I said, sister, you fighting against over 10,000 years of human history. Men were not made to look at the almost nude body of a woman and then be the same afterwards. I asked her to look at what she was wearing at the moment she was talking to me, and she was taken aback by my statement. But I told her very matter-of-factly and very bluntly that when you use your physical body to get attention from men, that you're literally turning off all the other centers in the male brain that might even consider wanting to get to know her intellectually. because something else is doing the thinking for him, if you know what I mean. I could tell she ain't like the outcome of that conversation, but it's the truth. And unfortunately, it's a truth that a lot of sisters out there are too stubborn and too prideful to grasp. Let me offer y'all a tip. For the next year, why don't you cover up a bit? Stop dressing to show off your body. Why don't you dress modest for a change? Watch how the male attention that you get change it to a totally different kind of attention. I personally know lots of girls who choose to dress modestly. Let me tell you, they're always talking about how men out here are very respectful. They treat them with dignity, and they almost like act like they're nervous to talk to them in a way, because of the way these young women carry themselves very virtuously and very modestly. There was a Caucasus woman at my job a few years ago, and I think she was like Pentecostal or something, but she would wear like these long jean skirts walking around, and the dudes up there at my job would literally be like, Lord forgive me, every time they thought about saying something inappropriate about her. And whenever she was around, they talked to her with the utmost respect. You wanna know what carrying yourself like that will do? It'll weed out all the dog and heat dudes out there who only want to get to know you for one thing only. And it'll pave the way for a man that's serious and wants something serious to come and sweep you off your feet. Another tip that I would like to offer: instead of using your female sexuality to entice men, why don't you learn how to play an instrument, or learn how to paint or sculpt or do something artistic and whatnot? Learn how to do something beautifully positive and productive. Find other ways to exude beautiful feminine energy without showing off your lady parts. That's the way to get male attention from serious men that won't be swayed every single time some generic broad and heat flash the same flesh that you flashed at him. Look, you are free to make whatever sovereign individual choice that you wish to make as a grown adult woman. But let me tell you, what y'all have been doing hasn't been working. No, women want to be married, but you keep letting boys play with you. Women want wholesome attention from men, but then you out here showing all your intimate parts to these dudes who haven't even earned that right by marrying you. And then you out here sleeping with these same dudes that you claim to not have wanted attention from when you walked past them at the club with that extremely high miniskirt on. Look, it's a reason why 70 years ago it was a lot easier for women to get married. You want long-term marriage to be your life? Then statistically speaking, you gotta get out of this category of whorish acting, whorish dressing women that are out here getting played and act like it. I'm Elijah Yarike. You can subscribe to this channel, you can unsubscribe, you can like this video, or you can dislike it, share and comment. And also, if you do decide that you want to subscribe, make sure you hit that notification bell so that you can be notified every single time I upload new content. That being said, I will say peace.